that if we don't know where she resides, that also can make collection a bit difficult, not just because we can't identify a state, which is a good option to be able to pursue these actions, but also because it becomes more difficult to serve her. These are going to be new cases, new actions.
Are you curious why Heard has been jumping from one place to another? Well, it seems like Johnny Depp is trying to collect the award he received from the defamation case, and Amber Heard is trying to avoid it. I know most of you are curious about what happened after the Depp versus Heard case was over, and let's be honest, if not all, then most of you want to know the status of the $1 million award Johnny got after winning the case. Or was he able to finally collect what's rightfully his from his ex-wife, Amber Heard? If you want to know more about this, then you're in the right video because I have the latest about the matter. And yep, I'll be giving you the reason why Depp might be able to claim even Heard's residual income from Aquaman 2.
Turner is off. After just 3 days of deliberations, the jury hands a stunning win to Johnny Depp.
We are grateful, so grateful to the jury for their careful deliberation.
For those who were able to watch the trial until the end, it's pretty obvious that you guys are aware of how Depp walked away with $15 million after his victory over Amber.
On the Today Show, the lawyer said outright that Amber just doesn't have the money to pay the judgment.
Is she able to pay a $10.4 million judgment?
Oh, no, absolutely.
Well, not literally, because we aren't even sure if Depp is planning to collect the money from his ex-wife or if the Aquaman star has the capacity to pay. In fact, Elaine Bredehoft had made it clear that Amber didn't have the means or money to hand over that huge amount of money, hence the appeal. However, fans were still pretty curious about whether Depp had changed his mind and decided to go after the award he won in the defamation case. But how will he get his money when the Aquaman star doesn't have the property to satisfy the judgment? Well, viewers think that Depp should just go after Heard's residual earnings from her past movies, the latest being Aquaman. It might sound like a brilliant idea, but in reality, it will be tedious if Depp decides to go after the judgment through this method. A lawyer/YouTuber was kind enough to explain why, and while this might get a little technical, I can assure you that you'll be able to understand the current status of the award if you listen to her narration. In the video, Andrea Burkhardt explains that if Depp and his team go after Heard's residual earnings, they have to first domesticate the award, which will involve yet another court proceeding.
In order to, for example, garnish Amber Heard's residual earnings from Aquaman, Johnny will need to go through a process of what's called domestication of the judgment. And that just means that there's steps you have to go through to basically get an out-of-state judgment formally recognized and enforceable in the state of California.
We all know how stressful and expensive going to court can be, so it's not a really practical solution from the get-go. She went further and enumerated the processes involved if Depp wanted to domesticate it in California. You might be thinking that, despite sounding complicated, it will be a piece of cake because Johnny has an amazing team to handle it. But there are a number of reasons why Team Johnny hasn't taken the first step yet. And yep, it involves the controversial bond required. In California, it's a different story. While in Virginia, the judgment is final and enforceable from the moment it's announced. That's not the case in California, where Depp should domesticate the judgment.
But California does it a little differently. And in this particular statute, they have this provision that says the court shall grant a stay of enforcement where an appeal from the sister state judgment is pending. So California then, unlike Virginia, does not treat the judgment as final.
And since there's an appeal ongoing, Team Johnny has to wait until the appeal is over before they can even start going after Amber. Fans actually think Depp's lawyers are smart enough to wait until the whole appeal is over so that their efforts will not be put to waste. In a comment, the fan said, "I agree, Depp's legal team is probably going to wait until at least the initial appeal is concluded. But they may be also tracking all of Heard's assets, liquid, property, and any investments, so they know where to focus their efforts once the appeal is concluded." Andrea, on the other hand, thinks that this is the reason why Heard had been jumping from one place to another.
They have to serve her with notice of that. And if you don't know where a person resides, that gets a lot more difficult to do. You have to, basically find them where they happen to be and get past their security and somehow manage to hand it to them personally.
Well, if this is the case, I think all we can do is wait and see, right? That's it for today's video. Make sure to take this information with a grain of salt and see you next time.